What's up, weirdos? I'm Felicia and I like scary movies, and I haven't said that in 438 days and 13 hours. That's crazy. If you are an OG weirdo, hi, I've missed you. If you want me to do a vlog style thing where I say, like a life update and where I've been and if I quit YouTube or meant to quit YouTube, I didn't mean to quit YouTube, let me know. I'll make it for you. And if you're new, hi, I'm Felicia and I talk about scary stuff on the internet sometimes. All right, so here's what's up. I saw a musical the other night with my friends and I was so excited about it that I had to come back to YouTube. I literally was like, I have to go film a video. I am excited. So, as you can tell from the title, I saw Teeth. I saw Teeth the musical. Yes, they made Teeth into a musical, which it was meant to be, I think. If you don't know, Teeth was a movie that came out in 2007, written and directed by Mitchell Lichtenstein, and it's just fantastic. It is a movie about a character named Dawn who turns out has teeth in her vagina. She finds this out through a very traumatic scene at a lake where she ends up biting the penis off of this guy named Toby. And then the rest of the movie, she's basically trying to navigate this situation. She goes to a gynecologist office where he gets his fingers cut off and he screams vagina dentata, vagina dentata. And if you don't know what that means, you should go check out this week's Sinister Sister podcast episode because I talked all about the history of it, some myths about it, and it's truly thrilling stuff. I pulled some stuff from this book by Barbara Creed called The Monstrous Feminine that I've been reading this year because of another project I'm working on, and she has a whole chapter about vagina dentata and its connection to like Medusa, and it's fantastic. But go listen to that episode. But yeah, Teeth is like, that movie is freaking wild and I love it. It's so, even though it's written and directed by a man, I just really appreciate its look at female sexuality and virginity and a woman's body being this like powerful force that it clearly is. And the first time I watched the movie was actually on a date, a first date. It was my idea because I'm very strange. Sorry about that, guy. I won't say your name. But yeah, that movie is, it's great. But today I'm mostly gonna be talking about the musicale. So this was written by Anna K. Jacobs and Michael R. Jackson. Michael R. Jackson is the person who wrote Strange Loop. That show was wildly popular, won some Tonys, won Pulitzer. I'm not sure Teeth is gonna win a Pulitzer, I'm sorry to say. It doesn't want one, I'm telling you. And it was directed by Sarah Benson, and it was produced by Playwrights Horizons, which was hilarious. It's funny, my friend said that I was with Joe, he was like, it's so funny to see this produced in this space. Like, it feels like, Rocky Horror, Evil Dead the Musical, this show that should be like in a basement somewhere. But it was produced at this like nice theater with a substantial budget, and there's like a rain curtain and pyrotechnics and all this like fun stuff. But I found that so thrilling. I was like, yes, let's put some budget into some weird ass musicals. Like, thank you. Thank you. So the first thing I just want to say is that overall, I really, really enjoyed it. And I'm a director by trade. I've been directing in New York in the theater scene here for a long time. And how I know I love a show is like the show ends and I'm like, ugh, wish I had directed that. Or I'm like, ugh, I hope I get to direct that one day at some random theater somewhere. And that's how I know, and I absolutely had that feeling. I thought the direction was so wild and wonderful. The songs are ridiculous. If you're not in New York, you can still listen to some of the songs on Spotify, including Modest is Hottest, which is the song that Toby sings to Dawn when they're like, falling for each other, and how her modesty is like super hot. And you know, the songs, the show, the acting, the direction, it's all like so high camp in this way that it had to be, it wanted to be. And I really appreciated like how far they pushed into that, because this was a show, like obviously like when I heard they were doing this, we had to buy tickets immediately, obviously. But I knew it was gonna basically go two ways. Either it was gonna be so over the top that I was just gonna be thrilled the whole time, like a roller coaster, and I was just gonna be like, yeah, like, you know, like the first time I saw a Rocky Horror Picture Show or something. Or it was gonna be so bad that it was gonna be a cult classic by default, just because it was just horrendous. And thankfully for this production, I think they did the first thing, where it was just over the top. Like they added this chorus of girls that are like in the abstinence group that, you know, by the end of the show are these like powerful goddess creatures. And these girls came out in every song to sing backup vocals in a different strange costume, doing a different strange thing. And I was like, yes, yes, I like that. Like they came out one time and they're wearing these like black veils and they're holding this red rose and they're just like plucking the rose petals as they sing, and I was like, yeah, that's right, so yeah, like stylistically I really thought it was spot on. The music is fun. Like I'm just trying to be honest here, I didn't leave the theater singing the songs. I'm not sure that the songs were as memorable as like Rocky Horror. Sorry, I'm just like, I shouldn't be comparing that. I feel like it's more on the lines of like, I'm just gonna say Carrie. Like I remember seeing Carrie and being like, this is amazing, but I didn't really remember the music, but that didn't mean I didn't love the show. And I felt sort of similarly here, where I was like, I'm not, like the music's not like super memorable to me, but the production was extremely memorable to me. But I did appreciate that in their songs, they definitely found like every possible word that's ever been used to stand in for vagina or penis, and I thought that was great. And in terms of the story, if you're curious, they did change some things. They kept sort of like the structural milestones, pillars, I don't know, intact. Like the abstinence group and Toby and the lake scene and then the gynecologist's office. And they even had some moments that were like, you know, pulled right from the movie. Like in the gynecologist office, they did the like, okay, scoot down more, which was super funny. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. And then they also added things. So they added like a change in the ending that kind of created this more like fantasy, ritualistic, exploding of the world that I really liked. Whereas in the movie it ends where, you know, Dawn really does, you can tell she comes into her power, because she has that moment where she looks at the camera and she's like, I'm going to murder some men by castrating them. But in this, it was so much, it was more of an explosion of female empowerment versus like just like that quiet little like spark. They also changed the family dynamic, so they had this additional character of the preacher, played just expertly by Stephen Pascal, who he was so good. But they had him as this like maniac preacher that was just getting more and more unhinged throughout the show. And he was Dawn's stepfather and Brad's father. And so, and that was another big change, was the story of the stepbrother. In the movie, you know, you just hate that guy. Like, you hate his guts. He's so horrible. And when he dies, it's so cathartic and exciting. But in this version, they definitely tried to create a more three-dimensional character. We got to sort of watch how he became the monster, the villain of the play. He's abused by his father. He's in these like patriarch echo chamber chat rooms that are like hyping him up against women and his stepsister. This like ultimate fear, and that's sort of like the vagina dentata thing, is this fear, male fear of castration, male fear of the female body. And those things were, I think, more present in the musical than even in the movie, which I really liked. The other thing I do want to mention, because it would be my first question if I was asking someone about the show, is how was the gore? I have been, massively interested in horror theater for, since I've been in theater, and haven't always been like trying to grow the genre and explore the genre and see as much as I can. And my biggest complaint is always just like, where's the blood? Where's the blood? My first job in New York was on this show at the Bushwick Star called The House of Von Macrame. And my whole job was basically wiping up all the blood in that show with ShamWows. And it was like the most magical experience of my life. And they used so much blood, like an unimaginable amount. And maybe I was spoiled then, because whenever I see shows that are attempting to do the horror thing, I'm always like, where's the blood? Like the revival of Sweeney Todd, I was like, where is the blood? Like, what's going on here? And in this, I will say, like, I felt like they did their best. Like, there was, in the gynecologist's office with the fingers, there was like an amazing blood squirt. There was lots of like, penis waving. That was fun. There was unexpected moments of blood. I don't want to spoil this, but if you're not in New York, I know you probably can't see it. But I'll just say the female chorus that I mentioned, they have a moment with their own blood from their bodies. In a moment that I've never seen anything like that in the theater. And I was so thrilled. I was so thrilled. Yeah. They should really talk more about periods in the theater. I feel like that's not a subject so heavily explored. But period blood, that's all. But that's it. Moving on. Oh, I also wanted to give a shout out to a couple people. I already said Steven Pascal. Dawn was played by Elise Allen Louise. She did a great job, honestly. Like, she was so well cast. She had that, like, innocent, tiny, meek girl thing. And then by the end, her like eyes are rolling in the back of her head and she's like twitching, and she was really going for the weird, and I just really appreciated that. And also, Krista Marie Jackson, who was the intimacy coordinator, fantastic. Intimacy choreography is like a newer thing in the theater and film world, and in a show like this, it's so necessary. It was very well done, I thought. Yeah, because that's hard. Like, this show like is dealing with a scene in which a character goes from a sort of consensual experience into that turns into a rape, and being able to stage that safely for the actors and clearly for the storytelling was, yeah, they did a great job. But yeah, I think that's it. This was probably like a long video, especially for my first video back on the internet. But thank you all so much for listening. If you have been a weirdo for years, and you watched this video, I just want to say, hey, I miss you. Thank you. We'll talk more. And if you're new here, hi. Thanks for watching. And I'll say Teeth is playing through the end of April, I believe, in New York, Playwrights Horizons Theater. And if you can't catch it, there are 3 songs on Spotify that I will link down in the description of this video. But thank you all so much, and have a nice screen. Bye.